Rock and roll now. You'll probably notice that the title that's printed out there is different than what I have here, but I'm sort of famous for that in the talks that I give. Some of this is a variation and derived from a talk I'll be giving next week in Hong Kong. They're having a Hong Kong Learning and Teaching Expo, a very big event, the Hong Kong Convention Center, and I'll be one of the main stage speakers for that, speaking on this notion of the third wave of EdTech, using virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and cognitive learning to transform 21st century learning. Now, let's see here. But before getting into the technology, the angle that I have been doing is in some ways different. Rather than starting with the technology, I want to start with what I think is a really deep problem. We've just been released a McKinsey Global Institute report. 375 million people are going to lose their jobs because of artificial intelligence over the next 12 to 13 years. It's a lot of people. So there's a huge need for us to try and address that, those of us who are involved with education, such as I am. But one of the key things, though, for these new jobs is that it requires knowing about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. It really is the key. Now, we might say, okay, well, we're going to educate people. Well, unfortunately, I would say it's not just the United States, but most folks don't think the education system is really up to making this kind of, helping these people learn the kinds of knowledge and skills that they're going to need to learn. So, could EdTech help? I think so, all of the fancy technologies. I'd suggest that we've been having broadly three waves of EdTech. First wave, here you go back into the 1980s, got things like the pre-web standalone software, Math Blaster, that kind of thing. You know, they're fun and you can learn some stuff with those. They're engaging. Second wave, we get into the 90s, 2000s, and probably a lot of what you have now are web-based kinds of systems. Often this is deploying digital videos and so on, but you know, some of those things are good in certain ways. Unfortunately, though, as a researcher, there's a lot of research out there, and knowing the literature and in the relevant areas, I can say that the vast majority of the existing first and second wave types of systems are not effective for having students learn the kinds of advanced STEM knowledge that's going to be required. Which gets us to the third wave of EdTech. This is combining cognitive science and artificial intelligence. We've had some real major breakthroughs in understanding with 3D virtual reality, and I would throw in, don't throw out 2D. 2D computer modeling visualization systems are very sophisticated, and combining these with new pedagogical approaches that we've been working on, not just my group at Sydney, but other groups around the world. The combination of these, it's not just the technology by itself that's going to make it happen. Now, going from being a basic researcher, as I have been for the last 25 years, to then get things into schools, well, it's a big gap, okay? I formed a company now, Pallas Learning Systems, and we'll be happy to have you play around with some of the things that we are now bringing to schools, that we're trying to make things in a form that will work on the kinds of systems that are in the schools now, providing the kinds of professional development that the teachers need, and the teaching resources that the teachers need as well. Because implementing the new teaching approaches actually in some ways is easier than conventional teaching, but they haven't learned it, they haven't experienced it. That's what Pallas is going to be doing. We can show you some videos as well if you want to come and watch us. We are based on research. Some of the work, this is the #4 ranked journal in the world, a 4-year study that we did with advanced technology systems, with students learning advanced STEM ideas about climate change and complexity. Again, the kinds of approaches that we've been doing really work. So again, I can tell you more about the company. If you will come back, we'll be in the room back over there during the break. As a company, we just got shortlisted as one of the top 20 EdTech EdTech solution companies and CIO advisors, a journal. There was a consulting report in 2016, Pallas, one of the 10 to watch companies in the world. We're being linked up next to the powerhouse companies like Pearson, McGraw-Hill, that are investing extensive amounts of money in the EdTech space. So the kinds of things that we do are being recognized internationally. And I'd love to tell you more about the company, and I'd love to have you come and experience some of our things as well. Thank you.